Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to finish up today with the creator request, which is where a smaller band or artist gets in contact with me and asks me to check out their stuff. Today we got one coming from Nick Palma, who contacted me via email and said, hey, wanted to reach out since I've seen a bunch of your videos and always enjoy a good reaction vid. I'm an independent artist, and one of my favorite things about putting music out to the world is seeing people's genuine reactions to what I've written. I was wondering if you'd be interested in checking out some of my work and reacting to it. So we're going to check out this track called Lanterns featuring Bryan Kang from Nick Palma. Let's see what Nick is bringing to the table today. Yeah, I like how that started out sounding like a synth and slowly pulled into the guitar tone. Half time to keep the intensity rolling. Back up the speed. Love that cymbal work. Interesting placement all the way over here as well. Nice use of contrast there. Cut out the width to come back in with a powerful moment. Yeah, back to our opening idea. Harmonization though, so small variation on it. Ooh, interesting choice. Really nice drum work throughout as well. Yeah, lay into it. Panning our opening idea. This is the third time we've heard it, and the third different idea utilized within it. Once again, contrasting for this specific big moment even. Oh, yes. right, a fun whammy idea. Yeah, yeah, that was very well done. Um, Came out this year too, May 6th, just a few months ago. Definitely a fantastic, exactly what I talk about when we look at music videos, especially for smaller bands like this. I mean, the channel only has 400 subscribers. I'm not sure what their Spotify numbers look like, um, but definitely a smaller artist. When you make the music videos like this, you really want them to be something that captures the audience. So you want to showcase who you are and what you're doing in the most concise way as possible. Especially, even more important is the opening 10 to 15 seconds. You want to get that thesis statement out there. We've talked about in the past about how singles carry double weight of not being just the art that you make, but also a marketing opportunity for you to get your music into new ears. And I think this just absolutely nails everything that a first time listen should be about. I've never heard of Nick Palma before. I don't know if any of you guys have heard of Nick Palma. Within moments, my attention was grasped and completely laid down everything that he's about as a musician, which is shredding on a guitar. It's the opening line that we get is shred. It's tapping. Very cool, aggressive, but bright tapping. I wouldn't say there's anything angry in this track. It's a very bright metal track. As far as the emotion goes, it's just a fun song. It's very bouncy. It's just very um, energetic, I think is another good word for it. And almost everything that the song does well is showcased in the opening moments. We also get a nice bit of production as we have this fairly compressed and modulated sound that originally, like I had mentioned, even felt like a synth to me, slowly modulate back into Nick's guitar sound. I initially thought it might have been some sort of crossfade idea between a synth and a guitar, but halfway through that, I could tell that it was just some really nice production put on it. So, yeah, just like I said, a phenomenal entry song, a fantastic single or music video, whatever you want to go by, um, to introduce yourself to new people. What else is going on here, though? I'm curious. The channel is called Nick Palma. The video is called Nick Palma Dash Lanterns featuring Bryan Kang. Looks like Bryan is a guest soloist, so the second guitarist here. Drums are performed by an Alec Keshishin. Apologize if I mispronounced that. Um, and then mixing and mastering and engineering were done by Atrium Audio. So is Alec part of the band? Is this a solo project where Nick has to find a drummer, a different drummer for every track? I don't know. I'm gonna have to dig into this. There is a full album stream that came out 6 days. Oh yeah, actually I knew there was a full album stream that came out 6 days ago, because this video was supposed to come out last week. Completely unintentional, it just happened to land on the day that the album came out, and unfortunately, I caught COVID. I couldn't release anything last week. According to this though, Alec does the drums on the entire album, so that's interesting. Um, I don't know that I necessarily have anything to add to that. I just find it interesting that the band name is Nick Palma, but I mean, is this a temporary drummer just for the album or permanent? I don't know. I don't think it really matters. Let's get back into what does matter, which is the music. This song is just a showcase of musicianship and compositionship, composer skills, and composition. Um, we have the guitar work all over the place is wild. It is very well done. It is very cleanly played, whether it's sweeps or tremolo picking or uh, the tapping. It's all very well done on the production side and the performance side. Like I mentioned, very clean playing throughout, showcases a wide width of skills related to the guitar and writing melody, especially faster melody, and even shows a lot of ingenuity, I would say, especially that whammy line that we got that was real interesting because it kind of gave it an electronic edge with all of the constant fluctuations in pitch, all the tonality to it. It was just a very clever line. Short lived, I'd say, but one of those things that doesn't overstay its welcome, and I end up wanting more of, which is a lot better than overstaying your welcome, and I wish we would have less of. Always leave your audience wanting more. So, yeah, the guitar playing is just really well done all throughout from both of our guitarists, because we also have Bryan Kang in here who does a couple of duets and solos as well. Really appreciate the way that the styles complement each other. I think both of them have similar but distinct guitar techniques and composition styles that just go very well. They go hand in hand with each other. And there were certainly some times where I didn't know that we shifted guitarists, but overall, like I said, the two styles mesh very well. I'm interested to hear more of Nick's um, non-featured stuff. I saw there were three featured artists, three featured guests on the album, but there was like 10 or 11 tracks. So a lot of the stuff's going to be Nick by himself. Really interested to see what happens with that because outside of Nick's melodic playing that takes front and center, we also have a guitar in the background that mostly just plays chordal stuff. It is foundational work for the lead element to be on top of. Um, I would like to see a little bit more done with this. I'm curious how often we'll hear duets or harmonies without a featured second guitarist. If Nick is going to continue on with this idea of the foundational guitar and the lead guitar. I didn't hear much bass. I don't know if that was a production thing. Maybe it just wasn't necessary, which I'm so sad those words came out of my mouth. There were some moments when I heard some lower end stuff, but it was pretty much doing what the guitar was doing and uh, just having a little bit more bass presence. If it's not already there, adding a bass, and like I said, just giving it some unique lines, maybe giving it some counterpoint against what the lead guitar is doing, just something else to kind of widen out the sound a little bit. The harmonies do a fantastic job of this. I just want more of that. And Nick, if you're watching, this is just, I say this on every creator request video because uh, I try to toe the line between feedback and personal wants. So anything that I'm saying doesn't necessarily mean it's going to make your music better. It's just going to make it better to my ears, and I'm just one person. So, if you agree with what I'm saying and you want to add it, completely agree, go for it. If you're like, nah, that's not my sound, I don't agree, with criticisms, I totally appreciate that as well. But more bass, and possibly doing some duets or counterpoint with the bass against the guitar is definitely something I would like to see more of in the future. Though, like I said, it might not have had the room there, given that you had a second guitarist featured. Drums. I gotta talk about this. Alex drumming is phenomenal and goes very well in with what Nick's guitaring and Bryan's guitaring is doing here, in that it is very flashy when it needs to be, but also restrained and works well for the moment. And that's something I need to go back and talk to about regarding the guitar work is flexibility and knowing what a section needs. But the drums have some phenomenal fills that work at not only just introducing some energy, but being flashy and putting a little bit of spotlight on the drumming. I'm glad that the drummer was allowed to do that. It's something I definitely want to see more of. I know this is Nick Palma's channel, Nick Palma's project. Alec is possibly a temporary drummer, like I mentioned. I don't know Alec's placement in here, but I'm glad that Alec got a spot in the shot, a spot in the spotlight to showcase their drumming skills, because absolutely need to be in there. It complements the guitaring so well, especially at the end of a phrase while the guitar is starting to wrap up their line. and kind of getting ready to tie into the next moment. We get these awesome drum fills that keep the intensity up, they keep the pressure up, they keep the flashiness up. And it's kind of this baton pass game between the two of them, and it works so well. But through the rest of it, we have these very nice moments of sitting in the pocket with nice embellishing ideas. In fact, right at the beginning, the drums are mostly sitting in the pocket. They're sitting in that metronome style of playing, keeping the time. But I mentioned that there was that really nice cymbal work. It was like a 3 note, 3/16 note hit, I think, on a ride cymbal. Interestingly placed production wise. It was off to the right, panned right, hard panned right, but also given some distance. It felt very far away from me. Anyways, just really nice touch on the production. But again, just a really nice embellishment on the idea as well. We have this very sort of groovy, but sitting in the pocket idea of basically keeping the time without being too boring, but then putting these little embellishing ideas in there. And that is beautiful. That is exactly what I want to see from a guitar or from a drummer for a style of music like this. Carrying it back to the guitar, we did have a few moments where we kind of pulled it in, we reined it in a little bit. The chorus idea of what I'm going to call the chorus, where we started utilizing these held out long notes and these suspended ideas that we eventually harmonized with in like the third time through this section. Really enjoy that. One of the huge aspects that I'm looking for when we talk about guitar playing, especially a track that is going to be purely instrumental where the guitar is taking lead, is contrast. Moments of restraint, pulling it in and saying, okay, we just had this really nice run. Let's bring it down a little bit so that we can speed back up and do some more shredding. Constant shredding is interesting. It can certainly be interesting. We have bands like Animals as Leaders and Polyphia that are pretty much just constantly shredding all the time, and it is jaw-dropping, but I find it to be very exhausting. And the lack of dynamic quality also kind of gets it to a point where I kind of get over it sometimes, depending on the song. Some songs are better than others. From both bands, but I do like that contrast, the dynamic quality. What if we shifted it down, took it in a little bit? And I'm glad that Nick, you decided to put this in your composition here. Slow it down for a couple of moments, specifically in this chorus that we go through a couple of times, to allow the faster, shreddier sections to stand out. Like I've said many times, if you're always running out of 10, your 10 becomes the norm. It makes it feel like a 5. If you're running out of 10 and you bring it down to a 5 and come back up to the 10, it feels intense again. It feels intense again. Okay, never mind, that was bad. um, so yeah, I just really appreciate the restraint and sort of bouncing back and forth between high intensity and lower intensity melodic writing. Uh, when did that happen? When did I mute myself? What do I need to go back to? Overall, though, I think this is where I accidentally muted myself. Overall, the song just does a fantastic job at keeping my attention while showcasing your skills and also, well, showcasing your performative skills with the shredding, but also your compositional skills with how to write multiple lines, introduce foundational and melodic lines, how to utilize contrast. Oh, there's another piece of contrast was that two of the times I think we entered into the chorus was done so through contrasting elements so that when we come in with that first note, it feels big. The first time we cut out the drums in the second guitar, I think, so we just had our lead guitar with its shredding melody line into it. And the second time we had a full-on stop. Everybody stopped playing on beat 4. We had a full beat of rest, and then beat 1 we dropped back in with the chorus, the big moment. So yeah, just lots of contrasting elements, and I also enjoy that as well, variation. I had mentioned that the tapping idea we came in on the song with, we ended with, but it was in a different feel. Same chords, different feeling, different rhythmic idea. And then we also had the different transitions throughout. So there's just a lot of moments where you're like, okay, we're going to repeat this idea, but we're going to do it a little differently. And again, just I really appreciate that. Basically, just hit on a lot of stuff that personally works well for me. Just wish a little bit more bass love in the track, but it's very possible that the bass shows up in other songs on the album, which I'm going to have to check out. I don't think it was a very long album either, so I might get a couple listens out of it. 41 minutes. So yeah, not very long at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 tracks. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to have to check that out. As usual, those are my thoughts on Nick Palma's, not Helix, that's the name of the album. What is it? Lanterns, featuring Bryan Kang. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know if you enjoyed this or not. Anything you'd like to add on to what I said, or agree with me or disagree with me. Go ahead and let me know. Everybody, check out the description box. As usual for creator request, I will not be putting my own links in there. I'll be putting Nick's links in there if you want to find his album or his social medias or anything else that I can find. I'll make sure all those links end up in the description so you can easily find what you want from Nick. All right, those are my thoughts. Wrap that up. Already did that. Until next time, remember to be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to, and have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you choose to watch my videos.